Welcome back to another vlog with me, Jaspreet Garg, life body coach. I think firstly I want to say that I am in a different location today and I have the beautiful plant joining me. We aren't having an interview, so it is just the vlog today. But maybe we will do that at some point in the future. So yeah, I think I want to start with saying that yes, there was still a bit of resistance to sitting down and having a talk today. Part of me was like, what have I got to say right now? Have I got anything of value to say? So I think what I want to kind of be honest about on that front is that, yeah, sometimes I have this, I have this feeling like I can't help, or I haven't got much to bring or anything of value to say. And that's definitely linked to self-esteem and self-belief and self-confidence. So yeah, I just wanted to name that because you might be someone who also feels like that, and I am too. And it's nice to meet you. But hey, I sat down and I put this together, and as I was putting my little production team, the stand, my phone, maybe a bit of lighting, which was decided to turn off and doesn't seem to be on right now. It doesn't matter because we've got natural sunlight, hey? But a little bit of light, just to kind of see all angles of me, see me in my fullest. But yeah, what I'm saying is that as I started putting my equipment together, those feelings of self-doubt and fear and not feeling like I've got anything good to say kind of started melting away, and a few ideas that bubbled up in me are linked to this house move that I've been through recently. But before I move on to that, I just wanted to bring last week's topic back and just kind of give an update on where I'm at. And I think a couple of outcomes from sitting down and reflecting with you last week happened. One was I felt like I could do with more meditation in my life. And secondly, I felt the need to be on more walks in nature. I think I'd been on a couple of walks prior to the vlog in my new surroundings. And I just wanted to update about that and say that it was good to speak my reflections, because what's happened subsequently is I did definitely sit down and do a session of meditation, and it was amazing because I couldn't believe, after many months of actually not really sitting down and spending time like that. I mean, obviously what initially happened for quite a long, so I ended up doing it for half an hour, which I was surprised by. And probably for about, not that I was clock watching, but I'm going to estimate maybe for 15-20 minutes, there was a lot of mind chatter going on. But then in those last 10 minutes, I definitely felt like a quietening inside and more of a presencing, more of being in the moment and being in that present state that I was in without, being distracted by the gazillion thoughts that we have every day. So yeah, that felt good, and I hope to do more of that each morning. In fact, I did it on a morning, and where I used to live before in London, I used to live on a very busy road, and it used to be hard for me, at least, because of being in that beginner state to sit down and meditate when there were like, you know, a queue of cars outside on the main road and all kinds of noises happening. So I used to actually leave it till the evening sometimes, and it was nice for the first time in a very long time, probably since I did my silent retreat. I think I've mentioned that before. Went on a silent retreat over a year ago, just before lockdown hit, and we used to meditate morning, really early, like 8 in the morning, in the afternoon, which was more of a movement meditation, and then in the evening after dinner. And yeah, since that time, I haven't actually sat down in the morning, so it felt good. And yeah, I'd definitely like to do more of that in my new surroundings. And I'd like to create like an area in which I can kind of, yeah, like have my cushions, have whatever else I want around me, candles or my incense sticks or something, you know, like create that little corner. Because at the moment it's not as, you know, designated spot, but it was still lovely. The sun was shining in, and it was on the floor, because I do prefer to do it on the floor. But yeah, anyway, so that's on that front. And on the walking front, went out on 2 more walks in new areas and on my own. And I think the other thing I want to mention about these walks is that every single walk I've been on, I've also ended up talking to someone. And I don't know, are you that kind of person that kind of keeps yourself to yourself when you're out and about? Because I have been, I'm not going to lie, I have been that person who does sometimes just, you know, and sometimes you don't want to connect with anyone out there. You do just want your time. You know, sometimes, because not, my life isn't like this at the moment, but you might be leading a kind of life where you are constantly, you know, not at the beck and call, but you're constantly interacting with people, and actually having your own time is just bliss. I think I'm the other way around. I have a lot of my own time and not enough interaction with the world outside. And I get in my comfort zone with that. So sometimes going, you know, taking that step out of my comfort zone, going out of it, can feel like a lot of hard work. But I have to admit, when I was out on these 3 different walks in the end that I've been on in the last week, each time, and it was normally because I had something to ask, like I wasn't sure where I was going. So I would be asking, you know, directions, but then it turned into a conversation, and it felt really, yeah, because I guess of the kind of year that we've been having, like just really lovely to be able to connect with someone. And obviously they've given that help, they've provided directions, but also just get to know someone. I think one of my desires has been recently to get to know new people, and actually make quite solid connections with new people. I put that intention out into the world before I left London, knowing that I'm coming to a new town. And yeah, it was just, I guess, me connecting with that intention. Each time I would talk to this new person, I'd be thinking, okay, you know, like I can do this. I haven't, you know, lost the ability to connect with new people face to face. And yeah, like just it felt good. And I, you know, from a body perspective, I just felt quite warm inside, and I've got my hand on my chest at the moment. So just from that kind of heart place, I could feel this connection. And, you know, whether they felt it, I don't know. But from my perspective, it just felt really good to, yeah, have that energy in my life. So let's see what this new town brings. And as things start opening up, maybe I will meet more new people, and maybe build a new community around me, that would be kind of awesome. I've always been one that's kind of a bit of a wanderer, so not always rooted to one place or to a group of people. But I don't know if it's with age, I don't know what it is, but I'm just starting to feel more like I really would love to have some solid connections in my life. So yeah. So that's my kind of that's where I'm at with how I acted upon the things that I said. And I was talking to a friend this week about this whole vlogging. And I said one of the really lovely things for me that comes out of this process is it is like an online journal, but it's that spoken online journal. And she said to me, yeah, there is something powerful about voicing how you feel and your reflections, like the vibrations of those feelings that are inside, they're being released and put out into this world. And yeah, like I said to her, I felt more accountable. The fact that I had said, these are the two things that I'm going to work on now. And, I don't know if anyone's really watching my entire vlog and actually listens to everything that I say. And for me, it's irrelevant. The point is I've put it out into the world. I've actually said that I'm going to do these couple of things. And then I noticed that the action happens with it. So, and that's why I come back to this. It helps me. It's quite healing for me. It's part of my learning journey. And like I've always said, if this is then also having some kind of positive impact for someone out there, then that's amazing. I'm, really happy that it has that effect. But I'm not, it's okay as well if there aren't lots of people watching or they're not getting any kind of help out of this. So not being too kind of not entrenched, but like too kind of, I need this to then have an outcome for me from a professional point of view. That's not how I view it at all. So yeah, I just kind of also wanted to name that. But yeah, so it feels good. I've been on some nice nature walks and yeah, like hopefully more to come. And as I said last week, more news on that front, but don't want to kind of say yet. I feel like needs to wait a little bit longer, just a little bit longer for me to do this little announcement. Well, it's a huge announcement, but let's give it a little bit more time, I think. And yeah, like one of the areas that I want to talk about is this actual house move that I've been through and the approach that I decided to take with it. What I want to say about that is I've been the kind of person in the past that does just tend to move from one thing to another, and it's, sometimes because of the circumstances, you just find yourself, like say it's a new job, you've only got maybe a couple of days before you start that new job because that's all that you've got, literally, like from a logistical point of view. Or you're about to go into, I don't know, like a huge turning point in your life. For instance, you're getting married and it all has to happen within a certain time frame, and then you're married, and then maybe you kind of, gave yourself a week off, but then you're back to work or whatever. Like, I've been that kind of person that just flits from one thing to another, but in the background has always felt like I'm not quite there yet. And it's taken me quite some time to settle into where I'm finding myself, whether that's new surroundings or whether that's new people or a new phase of my life. And I think with this move happening during a time when I've been on this self-discovery journey of my own, realizing I'm the kind of person that needs time and space to settle into something. Maybe not all the time, but when this was happening, when this house situation was happening, I felt this kind of clearing almost happening. Like, yeah, time to just move all these things and put a pause on where I'm at with my coaching journey, and put a pause on, you know, any other area of my life, and actually just make the move one of the most, focal points. And also what I want to say about the move is my husband and I used to rent in London, and we had no furniture whatsoever. The furniture was the property of the landlady and the flat itself. So we didn't have this kind of having to bring with us things that used to fit in that old space and now making them work here, or we didn't have, to make any decisions around furniture. And so the situation at the moment is that this place, as you may have noticed, is quite echoey. I've got my little friend here, and I've got a friend that I'm sitting on at the moment, but I haven't got that many furniture friends in my life. And it was an intentional decision as well to not fill up the space as soon as we move, or even obviously start ordering beforehand, and have it, arriving. All we need to do is just set it up. Like, there is nothing literally in this house at the moment. I don't have a desk, I don't have a chair. I have ordered and they have arrived, and they're temporary things at the moment because we're having to do some work on the inside of the house. So yeah, like, besides this beanbag that I'm sitting on, I've ordered a few more cushion type things, and yeah, like, I'm just trying to think, what have we bought that's major? Nothing, just small items. The kitchen's it's a fully renovated house, so the kitchen's done. I've just bought things like storage things, and that's it. Like, yeah, like, we've not bought hardly anything for this house yet, and we have been quite intentional about that. And the reason for that, for me, has been, we were living in this lovely cozy flat for the last 3.5 years in London, and I knew that this house is going to be 4 or 5 times bigger, if not more, than that place. And the idea of just having space, there was something so inviting about it. I can't explain, like, it just felt really like a breath of fresh air. And I just didn't want to lose that just because I felt obligation to start filling it. We need to get a bed because where are we going to sleep? Or we need a sofa, clearly, because we need somewhere to sit, and we need a dining table so that we can eat food. No, like, none of that has been important right now. And when I was talking to this friend that I mentioned before, I was saying, like, how maybe a few years ago, before I went through my own kind of self-exploration, I may have been the kind of person to felt the pressure to get things ordered, and to be looking at furniture and be looking at how are we gonna set up this place. Like, I would have definitely felt the pressure, and it probably would have turned into stress, and it may have even, turned into some items being bought beforehand, and then maybe changing minds and going, okay, I'm not sure about this, and then returning and then buying some more stuff. I mean, obviously a few years ago we didn't have COVID in the equation, and we could go to stores, So that would have been the added pressure that, oh, we can't even go. Like, you know, when we moved here, we couldn't go to shops. So yeah, like I definitely feel I would have been that kind of person. And now that I've been through my own kind of self-healing, definitely, as well as discovery, exploration journey, I've come to realize like those things really don't matter to me. And the only reason I'd be doing it is because it mattered to the world. And when I mean the world, I mean like society and expectations put, at least I feel like they're put on me, and me playing into them and thinking, yeah, everyone does this, you know, when you move, you buy lots of things, you set it up in a way that kind of meets your needs. Obviously, like doing a space up it's I see it as a self-expression, you know, but I think because I'd like to think I'm quite a creative person on that level, my creativity needs space first, and it needs to be able to see it in all its dimensions, like, and also felt. I think that's the other thing I've noticed about myself, is that I need to experience, my body needs to have the experience with something sometimes before it can decide what it wants. Yeah, and you know, sometimes that's not ideal, but I think when you commit to that way of living, which I think I am, each and every day I'm becoming more of that person. Right now, it doesn't matter that we don't have a bed to sleep on. It feels good. In fact, I feel like I'm kind of camping or something. Like, we've got a makeshift bed on the floor, and like I said, I'm sitting on these bean bags, and so there's places to sit. But it doesn't feel, I don't feel I'm lacking in any way. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like this is all part of the kind of nestling phase that I'm going through, and it feels like an important part of it to start from that blank canvas and allow it to fill gradually. And maybe there will be moments where it fills very quickly, but then it kind of peters out a little bit and calms down, and then it picks up again. So like I feel like it's more in tune with my rhythm, my bodily rhythm, and less in tune with what I think I should be doing and how the rest of the world, I think, lives, because this is all my perceptions of how people do things. And I mean, some of this is also based on how I've watched other people put their, you know, new homes together. And we're all individuals at the end of the day, and we all do things differently. And if I'm choosing to do it this way, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just another way. And at the end of the day, I'm the person that's living in this. So if I'm not being inconvenienced by it, then what does it matter what, you know, the rest of the world does? So yeah, I kind of wanted to just share a bit about how I've approached this like move from probably more from a logistical point of view and furniture point of view. But yeah, like this underlying theme of wanting space and really savoring it, actually, like really just, yeah, like being connected with the space. And like I said, allowing my body to have that experience of being in it before it becomes full with things. But it will be things that I'm choosing to have, not that I think I should have. So yeah, I just want to enjoy it from that beginning phase and all the way through to what it becomes. So I think I'm gonna bring it to a close here. Kind of leave you with that point of reflection, maybe, of, is there areas in your life where you feel like you could be creating more space? It might not be through emptying a room out, but it could be more kind of from an emotional point of view or from a mental point of view, like this kind of baggage that we carry, physical, emotional, mental. Could there, is that kind of sometimes inhibiting our full bodily experience because we think we need all these things in our lives when actually we don't? So, yeah, and kind of leaving you with an inquiry of, if you did empty your space out, how would that make you feel? Would it make you feel uncomfortable because then there's not something quite right there? Or would it make you feel really like, I can finally breathe again? Yeah. So a few little things that you might want to reflect on. But until next week, I shall leave you with those few reflections, and I will catch you, and maybe my friend will also catch you